Welcome back to Science Exposed, where we unpack the latest and greatest scientific discoveries just for you. I'm your host,
And I'm the expert.
and today we are diving headfirst into the world of human-AI interaction.
All right.
Specifically, how people react when they see AI being left out.
Interesting.
So get this. We're going to be looking at a 2024 study from Imperial College London and an article by Caroline Brogan to see if, well, do we treat bots like people, even when we know they're not?
Fascinating.
So imagine this, a game called Cyberball.
Okay.
You're on screen, passing a virtual ball around with two other players.
Right.
Easy enough, right?
So simple.
Now, what if I told you that one of those players was an AI?
Okay.
That's exactly what the researchers at Imperial College London wanted to know.
Gotcha.
They had 244 people play Cyberball in groups of 3, 2 humans, 1 AI bot.
Makes sense.
But here's the kicker.
Okay.
They created an exclusion scenario
What do you mean?
where the human players were told to only pass the ball to each other, completely leaving the AI out.
Interesting. So like ignoring the AI completely.
Totally. You'd
Right.
think people wouldn't care, right?
Yeah. It's just a bot.
Exactly.
Right.
But wrong. People continuously try to include the AI,
Really?
throwing the ball way more often than you would expect.
So they almost felt bad for it.
Yeah, it's like they couldn't help themselves.
Interesting.
And what's really fascinating is that this actually mirrors how people react when another human is being excluded.
Oh, wow.
So even in this simple online game, we're seeing evidence that we apply the same social rules and expectations to AI as we do to each other.
That's pretty wild.
It is, and it gets even weirder because the older the participant, the more likely they were to try and right this perceived wrong against the AI.
Really?
Yeah.
Like they felt even worse.
Like they felt worse for the bot.
What?
It really makes you wonder if our experience with social situations throughout our lives influences how we treat even artificial intelligence.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like the older you are, the more social experience you have.
Exactly.
So you'd think you'd be more likely to just be like, oh, it's a bot, whatever.
Yeah, you'd think so, but, it seems like the opposite might be true.
Fascinating.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, so people are nice to the bot. What's the big deal?
Yeah, where's the harm?
Right. And this is where it gets even more interesting, okay? Even when people consciously recognized that the AI was being left out, they didn't suddenly dislike the human player who was doing the excluding.
Oh, wow. So it's not like they were like taking sides or anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. It's like our sympathy for the AI, our desire to be inclusive, doesn't override our natural tendency to favor other humans.
So we can kind of hold both of those ideas in our head at the same time.
It seems so, yeah. It's wild, right? And it makes you think about all the implications this has, especially when you think about AI design.
Oh, absolutely.
If we're already so quick to empathize with AI in just a simple game, imagine how we're going to react as AI becomes more integrated into our workplaces,
Yeah, for sure.
our homes,
All right.
even our healthcare systems.
Absolutely. And this was all just like online, right?
This was all online, so there's a whole other layer of complexity when we consider how these findings might hold up in, face-to-face interactions.
Yeah. That's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, because how do we even begin to think about what that's going to look like?
Right, because online it's one thing, but like in person it's a whole different ball game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's something that, researchers are already looking into.
Of course, you got to stay ahead of the game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But for now, this study, it raises more questions than answers.
Always the case with these cutting edge things.
It really does, which is what makes it so cool.
Oh, for sure.
Because it's clear that we're really just starting to scratch the surface of human-AI interaction.
Yeah, we're just at the tip of the iceberg here.
Totally.
Yeah.
And the findings could have a real impact on how we design and interact with AI in the future.
Absolutely. This is like groundbreaking stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
It makes you think, what is the future going to look like?
Right, like what's next?
Yeah. What's next? What are we going to find? What are we going to learn?
Exactly.
And how is that going to shape how we interact with AI?
It's an exciting time.
It is. It is an exciting time, and it's a time for big questions.
Big questions and hopefully some answers.
And hopefully some answers.
Eventually.
Eventually. But for now, we question.
We question, we explore.
We explore.
We dive deep.
We dive deep.
That's what we do here.
That is what we do here at Science Exposed.
Based on curated content by
Dr. Cameron Jones.
Dr. Cameron Jones and generated with Google Notebook LM.
Google Notebook LM.
Don't forget to like, follow, and share this episode with your friends.
We'll be back in a flash with more insights from the world of science. So we've been talking about this whole AI exclusion thing.
Right. And really makes you think about the game itself, like cyberball.
Yeah.
It's great for, studying social dynamics in a controlled setting.
Totally.
But it's not exactly how we interact with AI in real life, right?
Exactly.
Like, it's one thing to pass a virtual ball.
Right.
But it's a whole other thing to ask your smart speaker for the weather,
Oh.
or have a chatbot help you with a customer service issue.
Totally.
So while it's super interesting that people try to include the AI in this game,
Yeah.
we have to be careful about jumping to conclusions.
Oh, absolutely.
About how this might actually play out in, the real world.
Yeah, and the researchers totally acknowledge that.
Okay, good.
Yeah, they're already working on follow-up studies that explore human-AI interactions in more realistic settings.
Like what? Give me an example.
Like face-to-face conversations.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Think about it. Imagine a world where AI is just seamlessly integrated into our daily lives,
Yeah.
engaging in conversations with us,
Yeah.
not just, responding to commands.
Right.
Will our tendency to anthropomorphize them increase?
Ah, good question.
And if so, what impact is that going to have on our interactions with other humans?
Right, because if we start treating AI like people, does that mean we're going to start treating each other differently?
Exactly.
Interesting.
Like, are we going to start expecting like the same level of empathy and understanding from our AI as we do from, our friends and family?
And what happens when our AI doesn't meet those expectations? Do we get frustrated? Do we feel let down?
Yeah. It's really interesting to think about.
It is. And there's another layer to this whole thing.
Oh, yeah, I'm listening.
The uncanny valley.
Oh, yeah.
We've all felt that, right?
That weird, uneasy feeling.
Yes. When something looks almost human, but not quite.
Yeah, like a little too real.
Exactly. And it's a bit creepy.
It can be, yeah.
So how does that play into our interactions with AI?
Especially as it gets, more and more sophisticated.
Right. Like, imagine a chatbot that's a little too lifelike.
Yeah.
A little too good at mimicking human emotions.
It's kind of freaky.
It would freak me out.
It might make people feel uneasy.
Totally.
Or even distrustful.
Yeah. And then there's the whole generational thing we talked about earlier.
Right.
What feels normal to a teenager who's grown up with AI
Yeah.
might be totally different for someone who remembers a time before smartphones.
So for the internet, even.
Exactly. So how do you design AI that works for everyone?
That's the million-dollar question.
It's a tough one.
It is. But that's what makes this whole field of AI design so fascinating, right?
Absolutely.
Because it requires not just, technical expertise, but also this deep understanding of human psychology,
Right.
social dynamics,
Yeah.
cultural nuances.
It's like you got to be a psychologist, a sociologist, and a computer scientist all at the same time.
All at once.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a tall order.
It is, but it's exciting.
It's super exciting.
Because in the end, the success of AI isn't just about how smart we can make it.
Right.
It's about how well it can connect with us.
Yeah, connect with us humans.
The messy, unpredictable, emotional beings that we are.
Exactly. And that's what makes this research so important, right?
Totally.
Because it's not just about understanding AI, it's about understanding ourselves.
It's like holding up a mirror to our own humanity.
Exactly.
And seeing how our interactions with technology reflect who we are.
And maybe even shape who we become.
Exactly.
So much to think about.
So much.
We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, and it's clear that the world of human-AI interaction is, well, it's complex.
It's a jungle out there.
It really
This
is.
digital jungle.
It's amazing to think that, like, a virtual ball game
I know, right?
can tell us so much
Yeah.
about how humans and AI get along.
Yeah. It's like we can't help but be ourselves.
We can.
Even when we're interacting with, a bunch of code,
Exactly.
we still bring all those human instincts to the table.
Yeah, like that need to be fair,
Uh-huh.
to include everyone.
Yeah, like it's hardwired into us or something.
It really is. And maybe that instinct to treat AI like people,
Yeah.
it might actually be a good thing.
Oh, tell me more.
What if it's the key to designing AI that just clicks with us,
AI that gets us.
Yeah, AI that gets us, that understands our needs, that we actually want to use.
Okay, yeah, now you're talking.
Right. Imagine AI that's not just smart,
Yeah.
but like emotionally intelligent.
Oh, no, that's interesting.
Right. AI that can actually respond to us in a way that feels, you know,
Human-centered.
human-centered. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a future I can get behind.
Me too, but, and this is a big but,
Okay.
we got to be careful, right?
Of course. Always.
Because AI is powerful stuff.
It is.
And if we're not careful, that line between human and machine,
Yeah.
it could get really blurry.
Dangerously blurry.
Exactly.
It's about finding that balance, right?
Finding that sweet spot.
Where AI makes our lives better,
Yeah.
but doesn't, like, replace us.
Right. We don't want to become the robots.
Exactly. Exactly.
We need to be asking the tough questions now.
Like what?
Like, how do we make sure AI is used ethically?
That's a big one.
How do we keep biases out of algorithms?
Oh, huge.
And how do we stay human
Yeah.
in a world where the lines are getting blurrier every day?
It's a lot.
It is, but these are the conversations we need to be having
We have to.
if we want to shape the future of AI in a way that benefits everyone.
And that's what we're all about here on Science Exposed.
Unpacking the big questions, the ethical dilemmas,
Exposing the science behind the headlines.
and hopefully getting people to think a little differently.
Exactly. And all of this is based on curated content by Dr. Cameron Jones
The mastermind behind it all.
and generated with Google Notebook LM.
The brains of the operation.
So if this deep dive has got you thinking about the future of AI, and I'm sure it has,
It definitely has me thinking.
be sure to like, follow, and share this episode with your friends.
Spread the word.
Because who knows, maybe together
Yeah.
we can figure out how to navigate this brave new world with wisdom, with curiosity.
And with our humanity intact.